So welcome back to DC's Silver Age Storytime, and today's story comes from Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 27, published in August 1961, with story by Robert Bernstein and art by Kurt Schaffenberger. Everybody knows that as a demon reporter, Lois Lane will go to almost any length to get his news story. But when Lois carries her desire for a scoop to the brink of certain death, then something must be amiss. Even for Daredevil Lois, the shocking secret of her death-defying behavior is revealed in the astounding tale of the last days of Lois Lane. Attention Earth, this is planet reporter Lois Lane making a farewell broadcast to you from a rocket hurtling toward the moon. I know I will never return from this one-way trip. Has Lois flipped? Why is she risking her life just for the sake of a scoop? One day, as Lois and Clark watch an important atomic explosion from a special underground observation post. We're lucky, Clark. We were the only members of the press selected to watch this blast. Yes, Lois, it's the first in a series of explosions to advance the peaceful interests of science. Later, in the project administrator's office, according to our rules, having witnessed the experiment, both of you must now visit Dr. Gerald, our radiation expert, for a routine checkup on possible radiation contamination. I'm safe. As Superman, I can't be affected by anything but kryptonite. That afternoon, at Dr. Gerald's lab, oh, look at the cute guinea pig. May I feed them some candy, Doctor? I'm afraid not, Miss Lane. It might interfere with the experiments we're conducting with them. This way to the examination room, please. Several days later at the Daily Planet office. I'm leaving for the big show Superman is putting on for the Veterans Fund. Will you be there, Lois? No, Clark. I'm joining a mountain climbing expedition to get the exclusive story of the ascent. In fact, I'm making plane reservations now. The following afternoon in the Canadian Rockies. The ledge is breaking off. We can't continue. We'll have to stay here and pray that the rest of the shelf doesn't topple into the abyss. Don't move around. I'm radioing for help now. Presently, when a rescue helicopter arrives. There isn't room for everyone. One of us men will have to remain behind. Come on, Miss Lane. You're a woman. Up you go. No, I insist on staying behind. Don't argue with me, or I'll jump. As the climbers bewilderingly obey, that girl is crazy. She deliberately chose suicide. She knows the ledge will break off any second. To whomever it may concern, these are the reactions of a person facing certain doom. She's mad. Through my binoculars, I can see she's writing a farewell message on the cliff wall with a black crayon. Shortly as the helicopter radios the news to the world, and Clark Kent at the Planet office hears a network special bulletin. At any moment, reporter Lois Lane, who refused to be rescued, may plunge to her death in Cato Canyon. Lois is up to her usual recklessness to get a big story. I'd better duck into the stockroom and change to Superman. Moments after, near Cato Canyon, crack, yay! I didn't arrive a second too soon. The ledge Lois was standing on just broke off. Then, it's okay, Lois, I've got you. But what's the big idea? You've pulled some harebrained stunts in the past to get a scoop, but nothing like this. I'm sorry, Superman. Maybe it was rash, but I couldn't help myself. It's very hard to explain. No, it isn't, Lois. You're only thinking of your next headline story. Well, stop jeopardizing your life to make headlines. It's just plain crazy. All right, I'll be more careful next time. I don't want to upset you. To whomever it may concern, these are the reactions of a person facing certain doom. All hope is gone. I know the ledge will soon break. I feel alone in the world, blah, blah, blah. However, a few days later, well, gentlemen, there it goes, our first moonshot. We all believe this rocket will reach the moon, but naturally it cannot return. Funny, Lois was here an hour ago covering the story, but now she's disappeared. I wonder where she went. At that moment, in the nose cone of the huge rocket, nobody saw me secrete myself in this cone before the countdown and launching. Now I can radio back to the Earth about the sensations of a human being on a one-way journey to the moon. Soon, inside the central tracking station. Attention! This is Lois Lane, broadcasting from a moon rocket hurtling into space. It's Lois. She's aboard that space missile. Then she's a goner, Superman. Our instruments reveal that the rocket is malfunctioning. It'll blow up soon. Seconds after, as Superman streaks skyward and detaches the nose cone from the rest of the missile. Baroom! The rocket is exploding a moment later, and Lois would be dead. What beats me is why Lois is taking such risks which doom her almost to certain death. Next, as the Man of Steel brings the cone back to Earth. I appreciate what you did, Superman, but it wouldn't have mattered if I had died. I just can't explain any more. It's something you can't help me with. Lois must be in real trouble if she doesn't care whether she lives or dies. I better keep a constant eye on her. And so that evening, as Superman, unseen, watches Lois's apartment, she's writing a letter to me. Good grief. What does she mean, after her death? To Superman, to be delivered after my death. As Superman, with his X-ray vision startledly reads on. Dear Superman, I know you've wondered about my strange actions, but do you blame me? With less than a week to live, why shouldn't I try what other reporters would dare and get a story which will live forever? You remember that shortly after I discovered a story of recent atomic experiments, I went off to Dr. Gerald's for a checkup. Well, when I called to his office a few days later, the nurse left these cards on the desk when she went to call Dr. Gerald, and this top one's mine. I guess there's no harm if I look at it. No, I can't die within a week. That's impossible. There must be some mistake. Lois Lane, exposure to radiation complete. Prognosis, death within a week. No measures can prevent damage. I became so frantic, I didn't even give Dr. Gerald a chance to speak when he came in. Doctor, isn't there anything you can do for me? Why, you don't need any treatment, Lois. You're perfectly fine. Neither you nor your friend Clark Kent have a trace of radiation. Just go out and enjoy living. A man like Dr. Gerald doesn't lie, unless there's no hope. I decided to keep my troubles a secret and use my last days to get a story that would help me live longer in people's memories. Goodbye, Superman. My last thoughts will be of you, Lois. Gulp. Dr. Gerald couldn't have been wrong. Dr. Gerald is the world's greatest authority on radiation. If he thought Lois had any chance for recovery, he'd have suggested some remedy. Poor Lois. My heart breaks for her. Dr. Gerald went on vacation recently to parts unknown, but I'll speak to him when he gets back. Till then, I must make Lois's last days happy. If what she wants is a big news story, I'll see that she gets it. 2 days later, on a volcanic island near Hawaii, Lois has risked her life to cover the story of this erupting volcano. The red-hot lava is pouring over the volcano lip and will surely kill her even when she snaps pictures and destroy her camera. But I'll see that she gets the most amazing pictures in the history of an erupting volcano by parting the lava pouring down on her with my super breath. She'll emerge unscathed with a terrific story. But the next day, instead of walking back to Metropolis, Lois visits her folks. Oh, Dad, Mom, I just had to see you again. There, child, why cry on so happy an occasion? If the Lanes only knew Lois is visiting them for the last time. That night, now she's making out her will. She's leaving everything to her family, who haven't the slightest idea that within a week she'll be gone. I hereby name my mother and father the beneficiaries of my estate, Lois Lane. The next morning, as Lois gets a surprise gift, a dictaphone machine. But, Dad, you shouldn't have bought it. You told me last night that business was bad. Tush, girl. Let's not argue. Now, you take this machine. And so that day, as Lois locks herself in her room, since time is running out, I will spend this day dictating a memoir of my experiences with Superman. All royalties will go to my parents to make life easier for them. Brave Lois. Even in this dark moment, she's thinking only of her family. I've often been unhappy because Superman couldn't return my love. But there were also many wonderful moments when, gosh, suddenly I can't remember anything. Lois needs my help. As Superman, unseen by Lois, hypnotizes her. Either she's feeling the effects of the radiation or else she's over-tense from anxiety. Anyway, I'll use super hypnosis to make contact with her subconscious mind. Listen carefully, Lois. I am the voice of your memory, reminding you about the incidents from your past with Superman. Remember the day I rescued from a killer whale, and the many times I became a human shield protecting you from gangster bullets. Yes, go on. But the following morning, after Lois brings the dictaphone cylinders to a typist in town, I've dropped all the cylinders. They're ruined. It's a crash. It's a good thing I trailed Lois to this typist. Don't be upset, miss. Lead me to your typewriter. And then, while the typist looks on amazed, I overheard everything Miss Lane dictated, so I'll use my supermemory to type up her script at super speed. But please, never tell her what I've done. You could trust me, Superman. I'm so grateful to you for recreating her book. Later that week, on returning to her job, Lois once again tempts fate. Lois will do anything to get a big story. She insisted on being put aboard a tanker that's been split in half in a raging storm so she can describe what it feels like to go down with a ship. However, when the ship does go down, just as the tanker starts sinking, and I send my last story out in a bottle, you show up and save me. Have you been following me, Superman? Yes, Lois. You've been acting so depressed lately, and you take so many deadly chances that I'm afraid to let you out of my sight. Next day, as Superman heads for Dr. Gerald's laboratory, Lois was very annoyed that I'd been trailing her everywhere, but if I hadn't, she'd be dead by now. Dr. Gerald came home today. It can't hurt asking him how much time Lois has left. I agree with you, nurse. Superman seems to be dying of radiation, too. It's Dr. Gerald's voice, but I'm not his patient, and atomic radiation can't harm me. Wait, I've got an idea. I must check my hunch. Presently, as Superman visits Lois. Lois, I've good news. I read that letter you wrote to me about your dying, but there's nothing to worry about. You're going to live. I've just come back from Dr. Gerald's lab, where he conducts radiation experiments on guinea pigs. I told Dr. Gerald about his nurse leaving your card where you could see it. He was shocked that you didn't ask him about the card before jumping to conclusions. Of course I said Superman would die, but Superman is a guinea pig. I name my animals after famous people. If Lois had looked on the other side of the card, she'd have seen the weight and age of that Lois Lane and realized her mistake. So the card only referred to a guinea pig named after me. Oh, Superman, I'm so grateful. I never thought I'd see any woman so happy to have a pig named after her. I like that story. That was a good one.